Most people think you need to quit your job to own an online business. This is not correct. Online businesses run 24/7 without you for the most part, and they print money and you can scale them. Why deal with 9 to 5 when you can work your way out of it safely and slowly with very minimal risk, and the upside being quite life-changing? I know from personal experience. There are people just like you out there that are buying cash flowing small online businesses whilst still working their full-time jobs. And these businesses, they're paying them an extra $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 a year in extra income. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step without zero fluff. So let's just dive straight in. Step 1, keep your day job. Please, please, please keep your day job. Do not quit. I tell people not to quit because the goal for most people isn't just more money. Typically, it's less stress, and more money is the vehicle that provides us to have less stress. So don't just rush past the goal, right? You can have less stress now. And when you quit your job, you actually turn off your income tap, and that income tap provides more than just money. It's that sense of security, right? If something happens, you're still making money. You're, not just spending money without anything coming in. Now, people who quit and they try and find a business to buy, they typically rush because they're spending money and they want to make an income fast because their savings are going down. And what happens when you're in a rush, this causes you to do what? Obviously make bad decisions. So I really suggest keeping the day job and move through this process of buying an online business slowly and make the right moves without frustration and stress. Be empowered. Make love-based decisions, not fear-based decisions. This is how the wealthy operate, right? They chill, they coast, they go slow and get mega rich really, really slowly. Step number 2, create an acquisition strategy. So work out what type of online business you want to buy and why. Most people I help, they want to buy online business because it provides that location independence and flexible work hours, right? You can work anywhere with an internet connection and you can work at any time. If you need to do 5 hours a day, you can do that in the morning or you can do that in the afternoon. You're not tied to a certain time that it needs to be done. So if you got kids, you got friends, you got things going on at events, you can choose your own work hours and where you do it as well. This has quickly became an absolute game changer in the past years since the COVID and all that sort of stuff. So I highly recommend going for an online business. Now, what type of online business is right for you? Well, you got 3 main business models that I want to talk about. You've got e-commerce business models, and then you've got media business models, and then you've got recurring revenue business models. And I want to explain a little bit about each of those. First and foremost, an e-commerce business is something that sells products. It can be digital products and it can be physical products. And how they sell these different products can be through multiple different channels and multiple different ways. So you've got different types of e-commerce businesses in themselves. The most popular one that you would probably know is self-product distribution, where you buy a bunch of product from a manufacturer, you put it into your own storage facility. It could be your garage, or you have a storage facility somewhere, and when somebody purchases something from your website, you send it out to the customer for you. That's self-distribution. Then you have some other really cool ways if you want to have a bit more of a lifestyle and not be too tied to operations of the e-commerce business, where you can use a 3PL. 3PL stands for a third-party logistics company, where you purchase the products in bulk, in stock, maybe in China or the States or somewhere, and then you ship it to your third-party logistics warehouse, and they connect with your Shopify website. And once products are sold, they will be notified and they'll send those products out to the customers for you. So that's 3PL. Then you also have Amazon FBA, which is where you list your products on Amazon, and they also have their third-party logistics company called FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, and you'll pay storage fees and shipping fees, because once something is sold from on Amazon, they'll send it out to the customer for you. Then you have one more, which is drop shipping. I'm sure you've heard of drop shipping. Drop shipping is where you can sell other people's products, or you can manufacture the products and have the warehouse that manufacture them drop ship them to your customers for you. I've done this in the past where I owned a suit company and we designed suits online, or customers did, and they were made in Thailand and then they were sent out to the customers after ordering. So that's e-commerce businesses. E-commerce businesses are the most typical types of online businesses that most people buy and sell. Then you've got some cool other ones like media businesses. Media businesses are just businesses that create media. And that can be a website that creates blog posts. It could be a news website that creates content. It could be a website that post videos and memes and audio as well. A media, it could be a podcast, it could be a YouTube channel. It could be a Facebook group. It could be an Instagram account or a TikTok account. Now you can buy these businesses, and how they make money is typically through sponsorship deals, advertisements, maybe affiliate links, partnerships with other brands where they're selling their products through to their own audience. And I love media businesses. Typically faceless media companies are really, really cool. Faceless YouTube channels, things of the like, maybe faceless Instagram accounts and TikTok accounts earn great revenue without you being tied or needing to have a face for the business or the brand. All you need to do is create media and have business relationships and partnerships. And I think media businesses are great. Also, then you've got recurring revenue businesses. Normally, the most popular recurring revenue business is a software business. So software as a service, SaaS it is called and abbreviated into. And how software businesses work is people pay a monthly, quarterly, or annual fee to get access to a certain software. That software could be Loom or Zoom, or it could be some sort of software that you use on your computer. It could be an application for your phone. It could be a game. It could be, a video, a hosting platform, or whatever it is. And so they're great businesses to own. And then you can also own a recurring revenue business that is e-learning business, where you learn how to play guitar, and you pay per month to learn how to play guitar, or singing lessons, or maybe it could be a newsletter where people will pay per month to be on a specific newsletter. So I really love recurring revenue business models, and typically they're the holy grail of business models that people go for, because you're getting a recurring revenue, and if you've got low churn and the retention is really high, they're pretty easy businesses to run. They're great lifestyle businesses. I would say if you're starting out, maybe an e-commerce business and a media business is something to start with. And then we're going to move to step 3. Finances. Once you know what sort of business you want to purchase, the business model that's going to allow you the lifestyle that you want, then you move into step 3 and you need to talk about and understand how much capital you have. Are you going to be buying this business with just cash, or can you get finance? And if you can get finance, how much can you get? What's your borrowing capacity, and what will that cost you? Usually people in the US, they will use a thing called the SBA loan. It's a government-backed loan, and you can put 10% up to 20% cash or more towards the business. And I'll give you an example. If you're going to buy $1 million business, you could put $100,000 towards that as a deposit. Maybe you can put up to $200,000 if you want, but you can also, just put $100,000 a deposit to buy $1 million business. Now, there is also another example where maybe you can have some sort of seller financing for the deposit, where maybe the seller will finance 50% of the deposit. So you only need to put $50,000 in for $1 million business. Or maybe you could do it much more creatively, and you could get other people to lend you the money for the $100,000 deposit as well. So there is specific ways that this can be done. And if you need finance brokers to help you get these loans, let me know. I can refer you to a bunch of these different guys that are really, really valuable and helpful in helping you get an SBA loan to buy an online business. Now, let's get back to the $1 million business example. A $1 million business, if you're going to purchase one, they earn about 20 to 30% return on investment per year. So that's about $250,000 a year. Now, the SBA usually charges an interest rate of around 10%. Now, this is starting to decrease as time goes on and interest rates decrease. But let's use this as a round number and an example. On a business that you're purchasing for maybe $200,000 a deposit, you've got an $800,000 loan. And at 10%, that $80,000 loan is going to cost you $80,000 per year. So with that, if you've got a business, $1 million business that's making $250,000, and you've got a $80,000 repayment to make, you're left with $170,000 per year as an income. For an e-commerce business or any type of online business, it may take you maybe 5 to 10 hours per week. Now, this is life-changing for many, many people. You can buy a business for maybe $200K or $100K, maybe a little bit less, they can pay you a 6-figure wage and allow you to work 5 to 10 hours a week anywhere in the world. Now, of course, there's other ways to finance these online businesses and acquisitions. For example, you can do an earnout, you can do more seller financing that I mentioned before, and you can use different types of creative financing. But don't be misled. Many content influencers will say you can, do a large amount of seller financing or buy a business with completely no money. Sure, yes, you can. You can do that with specific businesses sometimes. But mostly, if you're buying a business for a large portion of seller financing, those businesses are usually businesses that are decaying, that are liabilities. I mean, why else would a seller or a business want to sell their business for little to no money and then have them finance it and take all of the risk, right? Because their business has been dying or slowly dying or decaying and going backwards. So I set this expectation for you so you know that most businesses are not bought with, more than say 10 to 20% seller financing. It's a very key thing to understand. But this is a great option to use. Seller financing is really good. It helps you get creative and it can decrease your deposit amount. Now, a great mentor or an M&A advisor can help you with this in different structures and different financing options, And for financing, other options outside the US, they're not absolutely abundant. There are some more fintech lenders out there that are starting to allow you to purchase online business using finance. First, what you want to do is you want to work out how much money you have and then go away and do a bit of a Google research if you're not from the US to see if you can get a lender and work out what sort of the amount of finance you can get for the acquisition that you want to purchase. And once you know that through either SBA or a different fintech lender, then it's time to start searching for the business. So where do you go to buy these businesses? Well, you don't want to be wasting your time digging through just absolutely garbage listings. So let me just point you in the right direction. I've got a list of a couple of brokers that you can go check in the description, links to those. The first one I'll talk about is Empire Flippers. These are great for just all different types of online businesses. They sell e-commerce businesses, newsletters, software businesses, and mostly the price range for these businesses are between the $30,000 price range up to the $30 million price range. The sweet spot would be like the couple $100,000, a couple $1 million sort of businesses on Empire Flippers. Then you have Quiet Light Brokerage. Now, these guys, they are like Empire Flippers. They vet their listings. So they have their reputation at stake and they don't want to just sell any business. So they do a bit of pre-vetting to make sure the businesses are good businesses that they can actually sell before listing them. And they want only the best businesses to be sold. They don't want to be wasting their time trying to sell businesses that aren't valuable. So Empire Flippers and Quiet Light are quite good because they pre-vet these businesses. Quiet Light Brokerage, they're typically mostly selling e-commerce businesses. They do have some software businesses and they do have some media businesses, but primarily they're selling e-commerce businesses from the 6-figure range up. I have seen some for around $50,000, but typically it's around the $100,000 and upwards price range for those businesses on Quiet Light Brokerage. Then you have Flipper.com. Now that you do on Flipper.com, you have brokers that do broker businesses and sell businesses for people on Flipper. Typically, they are the better ones because, again, a broker's not going to waste their time trying to sell a business that is not really sellable because it's not a great business or it's, depreciating. So typically, they're the better deals to find on Flipper.com. And then you do have a bunch of businesses on Flipper. The majority are self-listed, right? Self-promoted, self-listed. These are businesses that can be great opportunities, can be a diamond in the rough to find them. And I have bought some that have self-listed businesses on Flipper and a bunch of my clients have as well. But just a word of warning is there are a lot of those businesses self-listed with not a whole lot of information and the sellers are not as easily contactable. And typically I find the better businesses are the ones that are pre-vetted by brokers. So understand that. Then I would suggest do a bunch of research on Google. Is like, once you know what business model you want to buy and the price range and you're going to be able to finance it, is just Google like where to buy an e-commerce business, where to buy a YouTube channel, where to buy, a blog or software businesses. And then there'll be different lists with different bloggers that will share different lists of different brokerages that can allow you to purchase businesses from their marketplaces. As time goes on, there's so many more popping up and the space is getting bigger and bigger. And that's what I like about it. Now, if you can't find brokerage businesses listed for sale already, then you can go away and do direct outreach. You can go away and find the type of business that you want, and then you can get a bunch of emails and then email those owners, to see if they're open or willing to sell. Direct outreach is a whole approach to itself. You can hire people to do it for you, but it does take a lot of time. And typically you need to build a bit of a network to really start to see results and getting businesses being sent to you. Next thing is you can set up alerts with a bunch of these different brokers. Go to the links below of those, a bunch of the ones that I've listed in the description, and, just set up alerts and they can email you when new deals come out. So you're not missing out on deals, because the best businesses, they do sell quite fast. So you want to be on top of those things. Step 5, once you are looking at these businesses, you need to do due diligence, right? And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can learn how to do due diligence yourself, so you can educate yourself. I have a company called buyingonlinebusinesses.com. We help people buy businesses under the $500,000 price range, up to the $1 million price range. Typically, you can, go through our courses. We also have coaching that you can use that can help you, move faster, progress through due diligence and understand how to not buy a lemon and buy a great business. Above that price range, 7 figures and up, then I'd recommend having a professional do it for you, or a due diligence service, pay for one of those to do the due diligence on a business for you. My suggestion is hiring a buy-side mergers and acquisitions advisor to help you get finance, help find the business, do the due diligence negotiations and all that sort of work. This is what I do for people that are buying businesses over $1 million up. Under $1 million, then the courses and coaching is the best way to go. So just reach out for anything that you need. I do have some free stuff as well at buyingonlinebusiness.com/free resources, like some due diligence frameworks and some different trainings that you can get if you want to check that out. Lastly, once you have your finance, you know what business you're going to go away and buy, and then you've done your due diligence and you've acquired it, the last thing you can do is grow the business. So first step is obviously understanding the business, learn the business over a couple of months before you make any moves. And I typically tell people to do more of what's working and less of what's not working. So pick apart what's not working so well and do more of what is working. For example, are you seeing certain ads that are not working so well, and there's better ads that are working even better? Maybe take your resources from the ads that aren't working so well and put it into the ads that are working better. So you're just shifting resources around. Another way to do it is, if you've got products that aren't selling, maybe sell, those products that are more, popular products. Instead of buying a whole bunch of inventory on products that aren't selling, just buy the most inventory for the most popular ones and just continue to sell the most popular ones, and maybe cut your losses with the the products that aren't selling as well. So optimize product, optimize marketing. You can also do upsells and downsells. Then you can cut out unnecessary expenses as well to save dollars too, or just shift those unnecessary expenses over into the resources or to the things that are working very well in your business. And that's how we can help people double and triple their profits without working more hours, just shifting resources around. Now, this is how real people escape the rat race, without quitting their jobs. They buy cash flowing businesses. They're literally buying themselves freedom. They're stopping having to trade their time for money, and they start stacking assets that pay themselves forever. So if you want me to break down my personal deal analysis process or show you some examples and more stuff, hit subscribe. I've got so many videos on here that can help you, buy a great online business. And if you did find this video helpful, please let me know what part of the video you found helpful. So put that in the comments so I can create more videos around this for you. See you in the next vid, guys.